I'm so excited to have you on. So we're talking today about emotional expression and doing it effectively and efficiently and the importance of that. So just to kind of go over what I talked to the listeners about earlier, effectiveness is doing the right thing and efficiency is doing things the right way. So how we think often about expressing ourselves in a way that people can understand us, but it's also about, kind of putting a little bit of effort and time into how we are expressing ourselves and knowing that that is important. I know that both of you are artists, so you have a little bit of practice with expressing yourself. You guys want to share a little bit about yourselves? Harold, you first. Oh, no, ladies first. All the time. I'm sorry.
All the time.
Kaylin.
Yes, so I am, just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of who I am here at LMU, I'm a sophomore communication studies major, aspiring African American studies minor. I'm involved in a lot of different things on campus, but my art has always sort of been the focal point of a lot of the things that I've done ever since I was a kid. I started reading at a very young age. I was like 3 the first time I picked up a book, and I was like, Mom, Dad, this girl in my class knows how to read, and I'm trying to read too. So from there, it was like I started getting into words and art, and I started writing my own poetry around like 10 years old, and I didn't start writing like raps or anything like that until I was about 14, and it was just like a challenge. Because I was in the house listening to too much Nicki Minaj, and my mom was like, if you're going to listen to all this music, you need to understand how it's put together. So I'm going to challenge you to write something. Write me a rap and bring it to me in a week. And I did it, and I liked it, and it was fun. And it started a whole transformation in me to where it was something that I had to do to express myself. It was a part of almost like survival for me to get me through the day.
Well, shout out to Mom.
Shout out to Mom.
She said, goal, get to it, I feel it. Okay.
So, it's me. Okay, so for one, I'm a sophomore. I'm a theater major, aspiring African American Studies minor. So pretty much, my life is a little bit different in a sense. So I grew up on the southeast side of Chicago. Born and raised for 18 years. I moved here to Los Angeles last July. So pretty much like how my art started. My sister, shout out to Brittany. She is she's a rapper and a poet, and she also when we were younger, she would always write raps and write poetry, and she would always share them with me and like just share it like with our siblings like as a whole, and at that point, I started. I started writing when I was in 8th grade, and I started performing when I was in 8th grade also, and how that pretty much started like, well, one of the pieces that I'm gonna do today, it pretty much started with my freshman year of high school when she was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. And so ever since then, well, like she's okay now, so she's been in remission for 4 years now. And I was a freshman in high school when that started. So a lot of people always like look at me and they say like that's like writing and performing is pretty heavy like for an 8th grader. And like they always ask me like, what did you go through in life? And I always like tell them that because like that's what happened. But it was it was like a real situation of vulnerability, especially learning the value of not only like for my family but for Black women as well. So yeah, pretty much that's pretty much like what started it as far as like me transitioning from poetry to spoken word, and like I said before, like she would always tell me like these stories, tell me and my older siblings like these stories, and it would just be really fascinating to me. So like I guess like you can say that she passed on like the writing torch to me. So yeah, and just from her just being my muse, I've turned that like from her just to like the value of Black women and who they are and what they represent and how a lot of this wouldn't even, like, a lot of the things that we represent right now wouldn't even be possible without the Black woman. So, yeah.
Wow, beautiful. I feel very blessed to have friends who know how to efficiently and effectively express themselves. Thank you. My first question was actually going to be, what is the journey? How's the journey of self-expression been like for you? But you guys both answered that, so that was beautiful. Wow.
I can tell you a little bit more about that. For me, it's really has been the word that you use, journey. It really has been a journey. Because even though I've been writing for a while, I did not start performing until I was about 16 or 17 years old. And writing has always been, for me, a way to find my voice. It's given me things that I couldn't necessarily be able to say, and being able to put that on paper and then being able to perform it has always been such a very liberating experience once I got used to it. Because I would always shy away from speaking when I was younger. Like 11, 12, 13, I was very shy because I was still going through that transition where you're like in puberty and you don't really get yourself and you don't really know what's going on. And then I found art again after a long time, and it gave me a new feeling that allowed me to express myself in a way that I hadn't before.
So it's been very healing for the both of you.
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Do you ever find it difficult to express yourself efficiently and effectively, which is what we're talking about? So I'm sure you guys do it effectively. I've heard both of you talk about your stories. I've heard both of you share your art with me, and it is effective. Yes, you're so welcome. In addition, do you find it difficult to do so efficiently? Do you find that in your process of expressing yourself, in the process of being received, you express yourself and are received in an efficient way, in the way that you want to be received, and then do people kind of support you in that? Is it something that you think about? Maybe you don't even think about people supporting you. I mean, obviously, we all need support in our expression.
Right.
We need to be validated in some way, even if it's just like, I hear you, I'm listening, I have my ear to you, I have my heart to you. So do you find that, I guess another question would be, do you write your pieces, do you express yourself with the intention of being received?
I would say it's in between. A lot of the times you write for, like, I want to get this out, and this is something that I really have to say, but a lot of the times maybe it's just like, I want to do this for myself, and this is just like how I'm feeling at the moment, and that's like for me, like as far as like the journey, that's kind of like where I've gone into, like, in a sense, is I'm just writing this for myself. I don't really want to perform this in a way because I feel like people aren't really going to get it, you know? But at that point, like, you have to think about it when you release your art and when you perform and when you, like when you get your art published or anything from that nature, it's really no longer your art anymore to an extent. You know, and so at that point, because like it's all hands on deck, like from that point, you know, so you can, so like people like the readers or like the listeners, they receive it how they want to, but for me, as far as like performing, I've always like had that mission, I guess, is for people to hear me, and whether or not like that this is your story and people are gonna listen to you no matter what if you're on stage, and it's like it's their up to their like discretion if they want to listen or not. So
definitely, I can agree that there are some pieces that I've written with the intention of this is what I want to say and this is how I want it to be received, and then there are on this, and there are some pieces that I know that I've written that I doubt will ever see the light of day, just because these feelings that I've tapped into are so raw that I don't know how it would be received by other people. There are other things that I think in this process of being an artist, that vulnerability, once you put yourself out there, is one of the scariest things, but it's also one of the most liberating things. Because now that it's out there, everything that you've wanted to say has been said, and it's up to the listener, like Harold said, to interpret it however they want. And that, in a way, is freedom because you've done everything that you can, and now you're leaving it up to someone else to either feel you or not feel you. And I feel like that is, although it's so frightening and you're like, I don't know if these people are going to think I'm crazy or not, it's still something that's beautiful because for all those people who do think that you're crazy, there's someone who's going to connect with what you said.
Yeah, and I think that's also it's interesting that you use the words scary and then you also said liberating, because I feel that even communicating with yourself can be scary and liberating at the same time. Like even tapping into those own emotions in a way where, you know, you're vulnerable enough to put it on paper, that can be scary. Sometimes you have to visit feelings that you have been suppressing. You have to, you know, be honest with yourself about things that you haven't been honest with about before, but it's very liberating. And it's healing. So that's a beautiful message, is that it's healing and that it's liberating. I love that word, liberating. It's a beautiful word. So what inspires you, I guess? How are you inspired to express yourself? I wanted to use the words community and also culture, but I want you to give your own answer for what your truth is. What inspires you to express yourself? I'm inspired by you all. I'm inspired by you.
It's
Every
mutual.
week,
It's mutual.
every week I have to get in here. I'm like, I'm inspired by all of you, my listeners. I love you all.
I think it really comes from a support system. You know, like I feel like every artist, or just like every human in general, like they want that feeling of appreciation. You know, and when it goes to artists, you know, like you want to go where your art is appreciated. You know, like where you want to go where people can relate to your art. So for me, I've always had a very strong support system, like with my family and with my friends. You know, and it's so interesting when I do get on stage and people hear like this very loud and assertive voice, and they're like, you know, like they're very like stunned, but in a good way. And I feel like it's amazing to see that because it's so unexpected, you know. And so like I kind of always expect like the unexpected when I do perform, because like we said earlier, it's really up to the artist. I mean, not the artist, but like the listeners, whether they perceive you or not, and whether they feel you or not. But I just I know that, and I'm pretty sure Kaylin knows this too, that every time you perform, like your words are going to reach somebody, and that somebody is going to tell that somebody and somebody's going to tell somebody. You know, so yeah, like I think it's all about the support system, and you have to have that conviction for what you're writing about, you know. And for me, it's the culture, it's the struggle, it's for our black women, it's for our black men. So yeah.
For me, I definitely have to say that life has always been my biggest inspiration. Not necessarily my life, but just like how all of these different people and their existence and their stories seem to overlap in a lot of different areas. Like I could be talking about my struggle in my life, and someone else can have something that relates or that they feel or that resonates with them. And that has been an inspiration for me in a lot of the writing that I've done and a lot of the work that I do. I want to tap into like that feeling that even though I may be of a different race, of a different heritage, of a different sexual orientation or any other intersection, that I can still connect with someone based on the story that I tell about who I am. So I think that that's one of the most beautiful parts about being an artist, is that what you put out there resonates and has an impact. And I truly believe in that phrase that art imitates life and life imitates art, because I've seen whether I've like written something down as this is something that I want to do and it happens, or if I've experienced something, I can write it down and it can still resonate. And I feel like that duality is important and beautiful, and it's a key part of being an artist.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank
you. Okay, so I know you guys have some pieces you want to share, but before we do So what I do with my guests when they come on the show is I give them words, and then you just give me the first word that pops up in your head when I give you that word. It's just so we can get to know a little bit more about you, and you can kind of reflect on just this moment. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay. Okay, so the first word is verse.
Flow.
Speak.
Loud.
Reality.
Reflection.
Nature. That reflection of
Beauty.
language.
Love.
Communication.
Everything.
Listen.
Feel.
Acceptance.
Love again.
Wow. Okay, that was really good. That was powerful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Harold, you have a different set of words.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, you ready? Emotion.
Power.
Art.
Life.
Movement.
Oh. Voice.
The fourth word was voice.
Oh wow. Oh my god.
First thing. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear?
Oh my god. I want to say movement.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Interpretation.
interpretation, truth.
Volume.
Action.
Delivery.
Flow.
Freedom.
Liberation. I know that's the same
Wow.
thing, but
No, that was good.
or vulnerability. I should
Thank
say.
you all. Vulnerability and freedom, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was beautiful. Okay. So, you guys have some art that you would like to share with our listeners now that you have told us about how you express yourself efficiently and effectively. I would love to hear. Okay, shout out to Kaylin, because today's her 20th birthday.
19.
Lit.
Oh,
Not
no.
quite yet.
Kaylin is 19?
Yes,
Oh
I'm a
my
baby.
God. Wow.
Yeah.
Happy 19th birthday.
Thank you. Not quite yet in the Dove Club, but it's coming.
Yeah. 19 is going to be a really transformative year.
I'm excited
It's
about
going to be
it.
good. It's going to be good. So happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Poetry. Who wants to share?
Mona Lisa with more melanin.
Okay, so Harold calls me Mona Lisa with more melanin because of a verse that I showed him. So I brought it so that everyone can have an idea of why he calls me that. So I'll just do that for y'all now. Okay. It's crazy they be telling me to stay real, and everybody think they gotta say how they feel. But I ain't hearing yet unless you really pay bills. I be painting pictures with flows, told them all to stay still. Hi, I'm Mona Lisa with more melanin. All about my art for real, why they try to be relevant. But this down to earth breezy got the fire flow like water, so you know the competition way out of their element.
Wow. Mona Lisa with more melanin.
Yeah.
I need to put that on my wall.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Harold.
It's my turn.
Yes.
Okay, mine's a little bit more longer. This piece is called Picture Perfect. She swims in her own sugar. Takes one look at a photo that reflects an ugly they do not describe and begins frantically drowning. In a pool of salt, she is the most beautiful, ugly you will ever meet. Picture. Snapshots from a stranger. Compliments are custom. It's popular by the man of God. Beautiful is the common word perfect. She's not Nicki Minaj, Lil Kim, nor Beyonce, not made out of puzzle parts. She's puzzle partly dark skin. Hair short and kinky atop of a toothpick like an overused dirty mop. Cleaning up the fragments of anti-Barbie characteristics. They do not like the flame of her insecurities. She is a proud nappy. With knowledge that beauty cannot be found within the measurements of your hips. But when you barely depart your lips to expose a seesaw self-esteem, confidence can be lost in the jungle gym of your smile, and the facades can be knotted up in the roots of little black girls who cling onto your reflected image, dancing on the string of your swag as the swag was ever tightrope in the first place picture. She protects a poem of words between clenched teeth.
swallowing whole, or tarnished, tainted. Circus sticks an excuse for a bottom lip. It'll perform tricks for you. Spit the most passionate poem to make you believe that this rusted engine will be something admirable. I possess a cool hat for every hair out of place. The stereotype of a poet in Smokovit. This tint a red eye for every blackened crescent of my lips a poem. For each chip a twisted tooth. My flaws come equipped with walking sticks and my father's pimp coats. Fans call me humble. But it's maybe because I only apply enough confidence for 2-word sentences like thank you and too kind and I smile wide with a mouth still shut like Celie. For this reason, everyone thought Celie was sweet and too kind. I wonder what would have happened if you gave her a hip hairdo and a microphone, but I've kissed Marissa shook angry half-seduced men and it possibly chased away a past lovers all at the same time. Do you know what it is like to feel well-faceted and insecure all at the same time? So, my stage presence is compacted with a lot of pain, and I could spit poems about my ugliest things until the audience gets stuck into my story like a second skin. Tap your wrist. Do you feel my pulse beating? This is the rhythm of a woman out of tune with her own touch. A woman out of touch with the image encapsulated in a photographic lens, piece of plastic, or her snapshot. The photographer be my homeboy and be my bully. Hit me with your hardest punch. I want to get knocked out of this feeling, this incompletion, this insatisfaction with God's creation. Do not shun me, Father. I do not blame you. Only have for one to be the bad girl, the villain, in the hometown of Canton, New Jersey, a.k.a. the city of Gotham. And even though her fight wasn't dare comparable to the Joker's, his driver insecurities ain't have nothing on her. But as you recall, she left her makeup and costume back in Chicago, a bad habit. So, the next time she passes a mirror, a thick set piece of glass may only have one purpose. To slit the wrist of every insecure character I ever once played. For the purpose of feeling that much more whole in my imperfections. Besides, ain't nothing more cooler than when your flaws actually walk with the limp.
Wow, Harold, my heart was beating fast that whole time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you both for
Thank
sharing with
you.
us and being vulnerable and free and liberated.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it's funny, I wanted to ask you all what messages you want to send in your art, but I realized I don't even want to open that because the message is the message. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to talk about expression and communication at the Thanksgiving table after this election.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay? Okay, we'll be right back after this. This is Saran Says Sundays.